Coach, I'll ask you about Bryce. Maybe struggling a bit with the three of late. In the development, he has the least amount of experience. So this time of season, what kind of words of encouragement and focus do you try to see from him or help him with?
Yeah, it's about doing the work every day for Bryce. Players want to see the ball go in. They want to have statistical success. I recognize that, but I also try to make sure that Bryce is understanding what I want from him. What I deem successful for all of our young players right now is how they do what they do. How they prepare for the games, how they approach their workouts, how they're playing the game, recognizing that the ball may not go in every time, but if Bryce goes into the game and he shoots 7 good threes, which I thought the threes he took last game for the most part were good threes. They made sense, they were at the right time. I thought his footwork was pretty good on most of them. That's an area that he's been working on. And the ball didn't go in. And me barking at Bryce to make a shot is unnecessary. He wants to make the shot. My focus has to be on the process of how he's getting those shots, because we believe in Bryce and his shooting. He's shown his entire life to be a scorer. So, Bryce, along with Taylor and Keontae right now, it's far more about, how they're going about their business every day.
Will, a league-wide question for you. If you go back to the All-Star break and a lot of discussion around the whole league about scoring, frustration, I think, at the league office about the trend and the way it was going, and you have a mid-season shift to the officiating, the memo that went out, and a pretty clear decision to change the whistle, which, I don't remember seeing in years past. Just for you, the experience and opinion of how it's hit your team, good, bad, how has that whole experience been?
It's been an adjustment for everybody, I would think. Ultimately, as a coach, all I want is to know that our team is going to get officiated the same way the Kings are tonight. If I leave the gym and say, wow, that game was way more physical, or there were a bunch of no calls, but it was happening to both teams, no problem. For us, it can be tough because we have a lot of young players, and young players are always, they're trying to manage their emotions, and no calls are frustrating because you think you did the right thing, you think you did everything you were supposed to do, and you didn't get a whistle. Right. I also recognize that it's frustrating for star players because they may be used to getting that whistle and they're not. So I think it impacts every team differently. I think based on your roster, where your team is, the coaches, the players, everybody has to address different issues. You feel it in the games, though. Like, there's no doubt about it. I kind of like it, if I'm being honest. I think we had gotten to a point where there were a lot of free throws being awarded on plays where you didn't even feel like players were trying to score. You felt like they were just trying to get fouled. But all I care about is the consistency. If we leave the arena tonight and I feel like the Kings were officiated the same way we were, no one shoots a free throw tonight, 0.
Right.
Mike and I probably both get thrown out, but at least we know that it was the same for both of us.
Just a quick follow, does that necessitate, did you need to sit down with your guys and talk through, because one thing if it's training camp and you can prepare for it, it obviously came pretty quick. How did you handle it?
For us, we didn't really need to. Our message to our team, again, based on our roster all year, has been don't expect to get a whistle.
Yeah.
Focus on the things you can control. I'll argue with the refs. Again, as players become more established, they develop their own relationships with officials. You see a lot more talking from like veteran players, all-stars, all those things. Right. We didn't have to deal with as much of that. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that have had to have a full sit down, hey, this is just the way it is. We're gonna have to learn how to deal with it. But for us, the message has been pretty consistent all year.
And Coach Hardy, and from your perspective, how do your players, feel about the situation? Because same way with the Kings, they want those calls to be consistent as well. But how do your players feel about that?
I think that our guys are handling it pretty well. To be quite honest, I don't think any of the young guys would tell you they feel like they've gotten a good whistle the whole season. That's generally how most young players feel. They get to this level and they feel like they're not getting the benefit of the doubt, and they haven't earned that yet. I know the officials and everybody say that they're trying to be consistent and everybody gets ref the same, but our guys have been frustrated at different times. Lowry is the guy the most for us who I think gets frustrated because he was an all-star last year and he's earned a different level of credibility, and there's times that he probably feels like he doesn't get a very good whistle. But our young players have handled it pretty well. We have plenty of other things to be frustrated about right now besides the officiating. You good?
Good.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks, Will.